Hello race fans and welcome to the RC series that proves that no matter what size the cars, rubbing is still racing. This is the inaugural event of the new RASCAR racing series for Good Sign 300, presented by Team Bombersports, NASCAR Fans UK and Good Sign. Coming up is 300 laps of history being made in RC racing, along with a few thrills and spills along the way, just the way we like it. But first, let's hand over to series organiser Chris Waring as he takes us under the shell of a RASCAR race car.
So what is a RASCAR? Well, in front of you is what you could be racing in events like the Good Sign 300 in the future. My name is Chris Waring. Where shall we start with one of these? Well, let's start with the black body shell you see here on the left of shot. The number 5 body shell, that is a representation of the Ford Fusion shell. These are basically jelly mold shells made out of 2 materials. This one you can see with the clear windows is Lexan. They're painted from the from the inside for the Lexan body shells, decaled from the outside. This is a Marday chassis. It's a Marday banger chassis. We'll just focus in on that there. As you can see, quite a simple setup. If you're very familiar to RC cars in general, if you've had one as a child, maybe a Tamiya, a HPI, maybe something a little bit more fancy. Very simple setup. What you have there is an alloy chassis. It's countersunk underneath. You may just be able to pick the screws up there on shot. But yeah, basically it's a flat plate with everything bolted to it. RASCAR use foam tyres. These are specially formed tyres in a sort of sponge type material, come in various different compounds. There you go, we've got the white rims on that. They come in various different rim colours, different designs, but the compounds of the tyres are the important ones. Basically, that's the easiest way you can set up your RASCAR and make changes to it during the race. If we move a little further back, that disc type piece of equipment there with the yellow wires coming out of it, that's your speed controller. That is an old style manual speed controller. Still works really well. We would recommend though in RASCAR you use the more modern electronic speed controllers, similar to that little black box there which is your receiver, but just a little bit bigger, and that would make your car go a little bit more smoothly, especially on the pace laps we found during testing. Moving back to the receiver, that's a very important piece of kit. You can see all the wires coming out of it, linking to your servo, linking to your speed controller. That basically picks up the signal from your transmitter and turns it into basically information which can make your car go left, right, forward, backwards. And the all-important motor and gearing right at the back of the car, rear-wheel drive cars, almost, sort of a mid-engine setup. I don't know whether you can quite see the black spur and black pinion gear quite as clear on the shot as I can see it, but in that car is a HPI Saturn. It's a 20-turn motor. We accept HPI Saturn motors in the brushed class. We also accept the G2 motors coming with most standard banger kits these days.
6 drivers answered the call to become stock car racing pioneers, so as the cars roll off to get the first ever RASCAR race underway, let's have a look at the starting grid. A 150 lap sprint race would decide the grid for the feature race, and a random draw saw Lee Owens' number 55 Team ORE Camtech Toyota roll off alongside Dan Hill's number 7 Ford Thunderbird, another Camtech bodied car. Row 2 featured Darren Gibbings running the 00 Ford, a shell rented from RASCAR themselves, alongside series organiser Chris Waring's own number 5 Team RC Good Sign Toyota. And on the final row, Joseph Alford's number 01 Ford, a car rented out from and prepared by RASCAR themselves, lined up alongside Joe Barth in the Team RC number 32 Chevrolet. So how will all history remember the first ever RASCAR sprint race? Fondly, as it was one full of action from start to finish. With cars and drivers getting to grips with the 20-metre oval in the Victoria Field and Social Club, there were accidents aplenty, and lots of chances to put the new RASCAR bodies and cars through their respective paces. The 150 lap sprint race would be combined with 2 separate 75 lap shootout races to form our grid for the 300 lap main event, and once the music stopped, it was Lee Owen who had risen through to take pole from the feature race, this time joined on the front row by Darren Gibbings, doing strongly in that 00 Ford. Chris Waring rolled off this time third in the good sign Toyota with Dan Hill's Thunderbird alongside, a very distinctive looking car that. And off the back row, it was Joe Barth's equally distinctive pink and black number 32 Chevrolet, a car that you can't miss at all on the track. On the inside, alongside Joseph Alford's number 01 Ford. Some issues with the pace car lights meant that the start of the A main race was scratchy, but once that was out of the way, the race settled into a familiar rhythm. Lee Owen playing Pied Piper, and everyone else trying to keep up. The best way perhaps to beat the red number 55 Toyota would perhaps be around the compulsory pit stop window at halfway. And as drivers started to ponder their strategy options, Dan Hill's number 7 T-Bird didn't even make it that far. Mechanical Gremlins halting his car at lap 74. A great shame. Once the pits opened at lap 150, Joe Barth was the first to blink and dove into the pits for a power cell change. Perhaps short pitting was the way to go. It certainly forced the hand of the rest of the field, as most of the other runners also came in shortly after to get their mandatory stop out of the way. The one exception was Darren Gibbings, the 00 Ford opting to protect his track position by staying out long after everyone else before finally pitting in at lap 250, nearly 100 laps after everyone else. As the laps ticked down, the race looked fairly set, until a late race caution for timing issues changed everything. Essentially, the race came down to a 20-lap sprint to the finish, RASCAR's own version of a green-white checker, if you will. But despite this late drama, Lee Owen's red number 55 Toyota was truly unstoppable, and he marched to victory to become the first ever RASCAR race winner.
So we've got Lee Owen, winner of the first ever RASCAR race, Good Sign 300 here at Street. Lee, how do you think it went today?
I think it went quite well today. It was a new idea that I thought I'd try out. I liked the idea that the races are started under a safety car and we all go around together. And the mandatory pit stop in the feature race, I think it's a very good feature, as you need to have your car so it's easy to get the battery in that. It's something new as I race GT12 most of the time. Sort of got into a rhythm after a while, going around remembering the corners with that. I think it's got a lot of promise for the future. Something that I'm going to be coming back to the next one. I hope we do well at again.
So here's the final rundown from a hectic Good Sign 300. Note this one down for the record books. Lee Owens, number 55 Camtech Team ORE Toyota, is your inaugural winner in RASCAR racing. RC Racing's Red Byron, if you will. Mr. RASCAR himself, the series' Bill France Sr., if you will. Chris Waring finished second for Team Good Sign and Albi RC, whilst Darren Gibbons' gamble on pit strategy didn't quite work out, but it still netted him a third in the 00 Ford. Fourth was Joe Barth in the black and pink number 32 Chevrolet, and fifth was Joseph Alford, who had problems late in the going. Dan Hill's number 7 Camtech Thunderbird rounded out the field after his early mechanical issues. So event number 1 is in the books. RASCAR is here to stay, and RCU NASCAR Racing has arrived in the UK, and it's waiting for you to get involved and join the action. The next event is coming up at the end of September, the Team Bombersports 350. A fine choice of race name, I think you'll agree. The RASCAR team will also be at the Cars and Stripes American Auto Fest at Rockingham Motor Speedway on August 31st, Bank Holiday Monday, along with yours truly. We'll see you there. Like and share this video if you enjoyed it, and until next time, Bombers, bring the noise!